I did a workshop last year. Julie participated. We actually share a common client. We have a common client who introduced us and said, "Hey, you guys need to connect." And I don't know why we hadn't connected before. So anyway, we connected, and the first words out of Julie's mouth were, "You changed my life in Nashville." And I went, "Okay, what happened, Julie?" So I'm excited to welcome Julie. Our conversation today is success on purpose or purposeful success. And so, Julie, thank you for agreeing to make time and hop in on the LinkedIn Live and share this conversation with me.
Thanks, Andrea. I'm super excited to be here, and I'm super excited to share a little bit about my journey, and hopefully it can help you serve other people because I was not kidding when I got on that first call. So,
All right, well, let's kick it off with that. Let's go and talk about prior to Nashville. So we connected in it is literally it's been 1 year. It was the first weekend in May of last year. We connected in Nashville. I've been in the Story Brand Guide community for a number of years. I have been part of Business Made Simple since it launched in 2020, was working, running the program, went back out of my business. But so you came, we had an event planned. You won, you won a trip to Nashville, and we had an event planned, and you attended the workshop, half day workshop. We did a personal professional development day for you guys. And we did a workshop, Lead with Your Why. And we took you guys through your why operating system and your working genius, and how to apply that into your business, how to take that into your ideal client, et cetera, et cetera. And then we sent you on your way. And so tell us, before you came to Nashville, how, like, kind of how did you get into your business and what was going on in your business up to that point?
yeah, so before Nashville, what had happened as we finished out 2023 in our business, we had actually had a fair amount of our clients just decide to not pay their invoices. I don't know if anybody can relate to that, but
Wow,
being a
that's
small
hard.
business owner,
Yeah.
yeah, it was a pretty big chunk of our expected revenue. And so, one of the things that we specialize in is a data analytics process that helps, brands clarify their messaging, all that kind of stuff. And without going into too much detail, we had a few clients who basically took their findings and left and didn't pay. And so that was unfortunately a really great learning opportunity for myself as a business owner, my business partner as a business owner. And so we had just a few months prior to that sat down and said, okay, what problem do we want to be known for solving? And how can we do that?
Yeah.
And how can we do it in a way that is a repeatable monthly reoccurring revenue model, so that there's not as much of this, boom and bust or the feast and famine of
I call
owning
it the
an
revenue
agency.
roller coaster, right? Whether
Yeah,
you're an agency, you're a coaching business, that is it's hard enough to deal with all the things that go on. The hardest thing, and especially for those who have been in a corporate world where this, what we call the safety of salary, sort of existed for a period of time in life. Now you don't have that. You're running your own business, and we call it the revenue roller coaster. And it is it's one of the most emotional roller coasters ever on the planet.
definitely. And one of the things that we really thought about in that process was, who do we want to help? How can we solve a problem for them? However, one of the things I didn't realize and didn't hadn't taken the time to do was really figure out what in the previous clients had gone wrong,
Mm.
and what did I enjoy about the process and what did I not enjoy about the process. And when we got to Nashville, I didn't even know I needed that piece of the puzzle because we were just so in a season of put your head down. We're building, thankfully enough, we know how to verify our own offer before we go spend a lot of time building it. But we had verified the offer and we were going in and starting to do the build. And then lo and behold, I end up in Nashville. And I feel like the universe just had a really great plan to say, you actually need Andrea. And so that was fantastic.
Awesome. All right. Well, let's dive into a little bit about what happened in Nashville. So in Nashville, um, we kicked off with Lead with Your Why. And this is a both a tool and a process that I accidentally discovered with clients a few years back. um, and had just been taking it. My philosophy was that businesses are built on the inside out, and that you see the airplane up here. If you're familiar with Business Made Simple at all or anything, you've got your six core functions that run a business. And I always said everything starts with the cockpit. If the cockpit isn't running right, if the pilot isn't running right, there's no co-pilot, there's nobody to run the ship, or whoever's running the ship. If they're not tuned to the right place, not in the right way, everything else on the flight's going to go crazy, right? So we did the workshop Lead with Your Why. We take people through a discovery process, so a great self-discovery tool that helps us uncover people's unique why operating system. And then we lean into that and then start bringing that to life and then apply and saying, how can you apply this? So during that workshop, you took the YOS and we discovered that your why formula is contribute. Your why is contribute. Your how is challenge, and your what you bring to people is simplicity. So if we explain that to how people, I'm going to share it in my words and I want you to share it in your words a bit, is people with the why of contribute, you are driven to help other people win, is how I say, right? When other people, you help them have an impact, add value to them. That is literally like the hot button in the center of your soul that when you have done that, that's your definition of success. So you are driven to serve others. How you do that through problem solving, through challenges, through what you want to do is through challenge. And it's not challenge from a conflict perspective. We look at challenge as an outside the box thinking, not doing the status quo, not doing the standard thing, always looking through a different view and a different lens and doing things a bit differently, right? And thinking differently, very innovative style. But what you bring to people is simplicity, simple solutions, things that just work, efficiency, ease. So when we discovered that about you and you discovered that in Nashville, how did you feel? When I say this about you, how does that make you feel?
It, for me, when I first heard it, I almost got emotional because the contribution side is, I remember you saying, for those of you who have contribution, this is that you are not winning unless you are helping other people win. And to me, that just like was the first time that somebody had put into words exactly how I felt about business. Because many times in my business, coaches or things like different mentors had said, Julie, you have to stop putting other people before yourself in your business. And to me, I never understood how to do that. It just never computed because to me, that wasn't winning. That
Yeah.
wasn't success. And so that was the first time I ever really felt validated as a business owner that I could operate from a place of true authenticity and still be very successful. And so
Yeah.
that was magical. The second piece, which is the challenge, my business partner will giggle when she watches this, is that if you want me to do something, say the phrase, well, this is how it's always been done.
that,
Because
that
those might be my
is,
least favorite words in the whole entire English language when you put them together.
yes, that is what I call like the like utter like, oh my gosh, cringe kryptonite moment for somebody with the how of challenge. It's like, oh, you watch me.
Yeah.
Not
Yeah.
anymore.
Well, that just means we have room for improvement. So
Yes.
so that was really cool. And then the simplification was a piece that I didn't realize is one of my gifts, because I had always just wanted to simplify everything so that I could explain it.
Hmm.
And I always resonated with that. I believe it's in a quote from Albert Einstein where he said, if you really want to know if you can understand something, explain it in simplified terms.
Yeah.
And so for me, that was really just hearing them all go together and knowing that all of these pieces could actually be a successful business formula for me was it was just permission. It was permission to operate with authenticity. It was a permission to just go full force into what I love, what lights me up. And the outcome has been, phenomenal. And so I always look through these lenses now of saying, okay, this is actually what's going to fill me up. And, having that understanding of the formula of like, okay, yeah, that's why we love this. That's why we love this, and it was just really, really empowering.
Nice, nice. Probably I love how you talked about it in ways that people told you you couldn't be so XYZ before. And I hear that over and over. I've always been told I shouldn't be so, and I shouldn't be so, and I shouldn't be so. Well, it's kind of like telling you not to be you.
Hmm.
And that's terrible. I just think that's terrible. I think it's and so what I love is hearing people say, "But this is how I run. This is how I operate. Like I can't change this about me." And trying to be anything but would be, almost like your reaction to, "But we've always done it this way."
Hmm.
Which is no. So, okay, so we went through the workshop. You discovered this about you. Tell me what happened next.
So in our business, we actually have two legs of our business. So one is a software that we've built for coaches, really because when we decided we wanted a monthly reoccurring revenue model, we also wanted to actually create a community for small businesses and coaches to have access to great tools. So one of the things the problem we wanted to be known for solving was taking the tech headache out of building a small business or building a coaching um, consulting company. And so when we started that and had that framework, we said, okay, here's the thing is most coaches will never have access to, you know, a story brand guide in their back pocket or a
Mhm.
business made simple coach or Tanya on my business partner. She is incredible with tech. So, how could we give a tech team and a marketing team to all of these coaches in their back pocket? And
Yeah,
so that was how we simplified that one. We said, listen, we take the tech headache out of building a business for you, and we are going to surround you with a community of like minded individuals. And on top of that, we're going to have you have access to be able to ask questions whenever you need. So
nice.
we simplified that problem. The other side of our business is a data analytics process that we do that is a series of sprint testing that we go and we, help clients understand their ideal customer pain points, the offer that needs to be put in front of them, the headlines that will actually convert, the imagery that needs to be used. But when I spoke about it on that weekend, I don't know if you remember, it was day 2, and we had done all of the things, and then we were running a little bit ahead of schedule, and Dawn said, oh, we're running a little bit ahead of schedule, does anybody want me to deep dive their business? And I thought, well, this is going to be great, I'm going to watch him, we're going to learn so much. And then one of the other gals in the room was like, oh, I want you to talk about this data analytics process with Julie. And so of course I'm not prepared, and it was I look back on it and I just laugh because it's like deer in the headlights. I don't know what to do. I'm just gonna verbally vomit all over. Like I know to simplify. I'm a story brand guide. Like
Yep.
so. However, when I told him, he just flat out looked at me and he's like, "I wouldn't hire you. It's too complicated. I don't understand what you're doing."
Mm,
And in that moment I realized, and he was so gracious to go into an additional, like, here's how you simplify it, this is what you do. And I took that and I, with the knowledge of the YOS, actually took it even further of like, there's actually a way for us to simplify this even more than what Dawn said and really help businesses.
yeah.
Because if I can run 3.5 weeks of sprint testing that could change the course of your business, because now you have the language to use, now you know where your audience is on the platform. So you actually know if you're going to put money behind ad testing, that this audience has already shown you they have indication data that they'll take action.
Yeah.
On top of that, what do they actually need you to put in front of them? And so we streamlined this into a very quick, nice little package, and you get a report at the end that is like, here is the backbone of your business strategy. You can take this to any marketing agency, all of those things, just all the backbone. And so for us, we were like, okay, so now we've simplified, we get to contribute, and then we're going to give them a way that it is not done right now. And again, this was the another big piece of like, I still, I mean, I'm on sales calls quite often with agencies who are like, can we use this as a white label? And I always say, yes, absolutely, because nobody's testing this intricately at the beginning, and that's hurting businesses.
Yeah.
They're running out of the capital they have at the beginning. And so for us, it was just these two legs of our business. We really sat down and went, okay, they work. They
Yeah.
work in our YOS, they work for us to contribute and help people, and they're simplified. So that was what we took from that. And it took us about, 6 months to really nail down how we wanted to do it, the flow of everything. But because we had that lens, we had a path
Yeah.
of like, okay, now we assess through these lenses.
Yeah. Did you find yourself having to say no to things now that you had that lens that you think that before might have come into the what if we do this space? Did that happen for you guys?
Absolutely. And it still does. I think it's one of those things when you start to experience success, great opportunities come more and more,
Yeah.
and saying no becomes more and more important to
Yeah.
stay in alignment. And so it still happens, and we look through that lens all the time.
Yeah. Yeah. How for you, so I'm also a Y of contribute, so I can relate to you on so many levels.
This is why we love each other.
This is why we love each other so much because I'm like, I love my other Y contributes. How hard is it to say no to things, especially when there's other people involved that you really, really like?
One of the things that I realized in the saying no was having a backup.
Mm,
So if somebody comes to us, I usually try and find them somebody to connect with.
mm,
And then I still feel like I satisfy that why, because I'm helping two people connect who could really serve and work together well,
yeah,
hopefully. And so that's been a really huge factor for me in being able to say no and still service that why side, because that is my biggest challenge in business is not wanting to let anybody down. You know, um,
yeah,
in the course of business, things don't always go the way we want them to, right? And even in
yeah,
this last year, I've had some health challenges, and that meant I had to take a step back. So then our growth trajectory and things like that had to slow down a little bit. All of those pieces, and it's just like I have to. That's the piece that I still have to work through.
yeah, absolutely. It's hard, and I can relate to that on so many levels because it is people come and I just can't. It's like, ooh, who can I connect them with? What resource can I connect them with? Like, how can I serve them in some way? Because just saying, I don't have anything for you is just not a complete it's not even a possible sentence
Yeah.
in my life. So I love that. Well, when we talked and you said you changed my life, you changed my business, and I was like, okay, you've got to tell me how. It was a ton of fun. You also shared that because of the focus that you guys have done and the things that you've been working on, you guys are on track to be in seven-figure um, progress. So if you look back and you said probably by Q4 this year, you would be hitting that seven-figure target. So if you look back, that would probably be close to 18 months from that experience. Um, how do you feel about that lens of your business and what else do you think has contributed to keeping you guys on that path?
Um, that's a really great question. I feel really great about it. That piece of the puzzle has been largely due to the very streamlined path that we have for both legs of the business. So, like you asked about, does it help us stay on track? Absolutely. We know what to say no to. The other piece of this that actually really helped me when I had gone through the YOS was understanding that community can help.
Mm,
So, having and expanding our team has been a process. It's one of those things, if you've ever expanded team, finding the right people, the right personalities, the right skill set is huge. And for me, one of the things that I had to do in this last year is take a little bit of a step back due to some health stuff and making sure that the team could still function without me and
yeah.
grow without me. So the I would say that the contribution side was really, really strong when I realized I was actually not helping
Yeah.
my team win if
Yeah.
I was in the way. And same with, as we've scaled and we're going out to market with our data analytics offer, one of the things is the understanding that it's okay if other people do it really great. I don't have to hold the whole ship. And
That's
that's
so
a really
you
big.
have to kinda take your hands off the wheel a little bit and let somebody else drive the wheel.
Yes, yes. And it's one of those things where um you kind of swing for the fences sometimes in oh, we have a great team. They are so brilliant, and I always say, like, they make me look so good, which is fantastic and I'm grateful for. However, they're the true superstars of our whole operation. They're the
Yeah.
ones who, you know, yes, we have curated this process together. However, they are the ones who day in and day out are looking at how can we make each and every client successful? How can we make each and every process even better so that there's a better outcome for people? They're all contribute as well. Like,
Yeah.
and so that helps us really think and optimize and get better and then get better results for clients. So for us, that's how we've done it to be able to scale at the rate that we're scaling at. Um, and that's a really it's actually insane when I think about, you just put that into context for 18 months.
18 months ago, you were in a different point in your business. Like, you were at a very I don't wanna use their like, you not catastrophic failure, but when your clients don't pay their bills, like, that's cash flow is your biggest challenge as a business owner, right?
Hmm. And it was to the tune of six figures. Like, it was
Yeah.
not a small, like, lack of funds. It was quite
Yeah. That can
quite
put it
large. So
that can put somebody out of business, like,
yeah.
overnight. That can close up shop. So,
And I thought
um,
about it many times.
I'm sure. I'm sure you did. Well, I love that you're pointing your YOS at your team too. And as a leader, I hear that, and I what I know is that people with the Y of contribute, even as a leader, when you give them kudos and tell them good job, they will it's immediately like it's the team. If we hadn't done this, if so and so hadn't done that. So you're just reflecting that value and who you are back so well. And I love that. And I do want to say congratulations to you and your business partner for making this move. I'm excited about what you guys doing because I love the coaching world and I serve, former corporate professionals who have decided to make that leap and go full in on themselves. So I love what you guys are doing for them. In terms of because there's a lot of tech, there's a lot of you need like 7 different experts in your business, and you can't always fund 6-figure experts in your business or 7-figure experts in your business all the time. So I love that you guys are coming to them with a solution that gives them a backbone to run their business, but gives them access to both tech and marketing in their pocket, all in one space. So, and I know Brian has jumped in. Thanks, Brian, for piping in because I know
Hi,
Brian has
Brian.
shared. He's been huge advocate for you and what you guys have done, as well as for what we do over here. So, love seeing that. If nobody knew you or me, and we said, does your purpose belong in your business plan? What would you say to them?
Absolutely.
Yeah, and without
I
it, what
I truly
happens?
can't imagine life without it. Like, I cannot imagine doing business without your purpose driving it.
Yeah. So, and for somebody who would be new to that, what would you tell them about taking that short pause? It's kind of like I call it. It's a little bit like archery. It's kind of like you're pulling back and you're doing a pause before you do that release. Sometimes that's scary to slow down to go fast. What would be your words of wisdom for somebody who maybe needs to rethink some clarity before they go full speed ahead?
It's interesting that you use the archery example, because the first thing that came to mind for me was actually building a skyscraper. So when you build a skyscraper, you have to go so far down before you even see any progress coming out of the ground. But that foundation is so critical in building the strength of the building that
Mm,
I actually equate this more to the foundation of what you're building. And if it's not strong, we don't build houses on sand. We
Yeah.
build them, on concrete and things like that. So to me, this feels so foundational that I can't imagine having something built on top of it without really knowing this. And again, that's one of the reasons why, we didn't find the right clients. They didn't pay their bills. When I think about all the things I said yes to, everything that didn't work out was so out of alignment. And that's why when I look back, we had the house on sand.
Mm,
We were just fortunate enough that we had some really great clients that were with us through thick and thin, and
yeah.
who were like, no, you've changed our business. You've done such amazing work for us. Everybody always kind of asks me, like, hey, do can we go call some of your old clients to see if they want this? I'm like, I don't actually have old clients. They're still here, so
That's so good. That
which
is
is
so
lovely. Yeah,
good.
with the
Yes.
exception of the few that didn't pay,
Right.
there's everybody else is still with us. And so I'm really grateful for that. And that to me is kind of the marker of success, in that people still want to continue to work with you. And we've even had a couple of situations where we have not been able to get the results that we wanted to based on a niche or things like that. And actually had clients say to us, well, no, like where would we go if we're not with you, kind
Yeah.
of thing. And that was probably one of the hardest things that we've ever had to do, is find those clients the right fit for them, even though we love them and we know our process is not what they need.
Yeah.
And so there's a few of those that still weigh heavy on my heart, because I feel like my contribute side didn't help them win. But
Yes.
for the most part, this to me is so foundational that I don't think you cannot achieve great success without a strong foundation, because the wind will come, the storms will come, and without a strong foundation to hold you in place, it crumbles.
Yeah.
So
Absolutely. Well, more importantly, Julie, you have 2 lanes of your business. So, how can people get in touch with you? I love so my house makes sense. And so your data-driven analytical thing makes my make sense how literally light up with stars and go, "Oh, it actually proves and disproves what does or doesn't make sense." In a place where marketing seems so hard. So, share with us how people can get in touch with you, whether they're interested in data-driven insights that really drive their marketing strategy, or if they are one of my favorite audiences, the coaches, consultants running their own business and really want to decrease their tech headache, have access to both tech and marketing support to help build their foundation. How should people get in touch with you?
absolutely. So feel free to message me here on LinkedIn. I'm always happy to answer in a private message. The other thing you can do, or on our coach side, is our program is called Coach Core. So CoachCore.ca is our website over there. And you can book a demo to take a look. You can book a discovery call with our team. We love to ask questions. We love to see if it's the right fit. The data analytics side is through our agency, and that's Wheeler Marketing and Consulting. So the website over there is wmcco.ca. So WMC Co is what we kind of refer to our agency as
Love
.ca.
it.
And
Yeah.
again, same thing. You can always send a message to us. I'm happy to answer any questions. We're on all the channels: Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram. So if you need to find me, you can. And I'm always happy to answer a private message. So
Awesome. Julie, I really appreciate you sharing your story and being so transparent about that experience for you, what it's done. I'm grateful you were in the room and had that opportunity. I had no clue. This whole year has gone by. I had no clue all the things that were going on. And my contribute heart goes, yes, one thing, one thing.
well, and I hope that you understand the ripple effect of that too, Andrea, because like inside our Coach Core offer, there's 80 coaches and their teams inside our Coach Core offer right now. And that's all because a big part of why that's built, how that's here, is because of you and your work. So we have a
Thanks.
lot to thank you for. And same with our data analytics. All of it was streamlining, simplification, and it was because I had that lens to look through. So there's a lot of people who can thank you for directing us in the right path.
I will stand on my rock. I will go to my grave with this is that I swear to you, the best version of success is the version that fits you best, not somebody else's. You could have 50 gurus, 50 different answers, 50 different paths. They all work. It's whether or not they work for you. And so I literally will just, it's probably the thing that people I hope, I appreciate most, but it's probably the thing people get tired of hearing me say the most is I don't care about the rest of business until we care about you and you're clear and you get permission to absolutely dive into the zone of genius that makes you you. And the more that you spend in that space, you're right. It is exactly what happens. You serve the right people with the right things, and your business thrives, their lives thrive. Like it does just go beyond. And the more that, um, that was part of I never even really wanted to be a coach. That wasn't what I set out to do. It happened by accident. But that's the thing that I will swear on is that businesses, I love your metaphor with the skyscraper. Hadn't heard that one in a while or thought about it, but it's this inside out approach to it. There are things you build internally before things go external that just phenomenally lead to amazing things and doors that just seemed would have either not happened or it would have been, just kind of like a series of banging our head against the wall. And I just really think that life is too short to be doing that. So,
Yeah,
yeah. So
absolutely.
awesome. Well, Julie, I know you're off on an adventure soon and taking a trip. I'll be doing the same thing here in a few days. I want to say thank you to those who tuned into our LinkedIn Live, whether it's live or the replay. Julie, love what you're doing. Thank you for sharing your story and I appreciate you being here today.
Thanks, Andrea. I appreciate you. Thanks for having me.
My pleasure. Thanks, everybody. You know how to find Julie on LinkedIn. You know how to find me. And we have more fascinating stories to share with you guys about other people who have dove into their why, their working genius things, and decided to build their business on their terms and not everybody else's terms. So we'll have more stories to share.